What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so you may recall a couple of days ago I did a video giving you my take, and so far, my early prediction for the 2025 gubernatorial election here in Virginia. Now, as of right now, I'm of the opinion that Abigail Spanberger, the Democratic nominee for governor, is going to win an overwhelming victory on election day. I would not be surprised if she won by double digits and perhaps even be beyond that margin. I think that Winsome Sears, the Republican nominee, is going to underperform. And I gave my reasons as to why I thought that was the case. Now, I do want to bring up something that I have observed since then, all right? So Trump came to Virginia recently to stump for, ostensibly, to stump for the Republican ticket, because at the top of the ticket, we have three state house races. Give me a second. 3 state house races: the governor election, the gubernatorial election, the lieutenant gubernatorial election, and the attorney general election. Okay. Now, 4 years ago, those races were swept, albeit rather narrowly, by Republicans. And that was a big victory, considering that over the past 20 years, Virginia has transitioned from being a red state to a purple state to now a blue state. Right? Now, you might have heard me say in that video, one of the big reasons why Glenn Youngkin, Jason Miyares, and Winsome Sears, Youngkin being the governor, Earl Sears, the lieutenant governor, Miyares, the attorney general, the reason why they were to win is because they were able to talk about certain topics and subject matter that were resonating with MAGA voters and Trump voters, and to draw in some independents and a few Democrats. They were talking about how parents should be more involved in schools and parental rights with their children. And they were talking about the economy, which had faltered in Virginia as much as well as other places in the country. And they talked about critical race theory and all. Remember, that was big back then. And, they were talking about other issues too, taxpayer issues and pocketbook issues that were enough to draw in enough support to overtake the more Democratic areas, which usually are enough to swing these state house races to Democrats, right? But this time, I don't think it's going to work because of the issues, the candidates, and I got to point something out here. Trump has only endorsed one candidate, and that is Jason Miyares, all right? And Jason Miyares is the attorney general running for re-election. And he's going up against a guy, I think his name is Jay Jones, it might be. Anyway, Trump talked about this on his Truth Social. I know it's kind of small, but bear with me. He writes here, it has just come out that the radical left lunatic, Jay Jones, who is running against Jason Miyares, the great Attorney General of Virginia, made sick and demented jokes, if there were jokes at all, which were not funny, and that he wrote down and sent them to several people, including, concerning the unaliving of a Republican legislator, his wife, and their children. And he talked about how Abigail Spanberger is weak and ineffective, and basically he gave his endorsement of Jason Miyares. And he also said that Jay Jones should resign, right, as the nominee. Now, it is pathetic that he's going around making those types of, comments to people, but, that's the environment that we're in. Really, be honest with you, you could make an argument he should resign, but it's so late in the game, it's not going to happen. I don't know how that race is going to play out, but I wouldn't be surprised if Miyares may eke that out. But it's hard to say because it's hard to downplay the motivation of Democrats right now in these races. So it's hard for me to say whether that's going to be a big enough issue for Jay Jones to lose. I really don't know. But anyway, I do know this. Donald Trump has a long memory. A long memory. He has not come out and endorsed Winsome Sears. And it's because Donald Trump doesn't forget slights. He remembers how in 2021, Winsome Sears, Jason Miyares, and Glenn Youngkin all came out and were able to get MAGA voters to come out and vote for them, but at the same time, they distanced themselves from Trump, who was out of office at that time, with lagging popularity and the government trying to come after him legally, right? We all remember this. And Winsome Sears said at the time that she could never support Donald Trump for president again. She said that. This is when Trump was at his lowest. This is when his approval rating nationally was like at around 30%. This is when the government was coming at him for legal reasons. All that whole period of time, 2021 into 2022, right? I'm gonna tell you another thing too. That's causing him not to support her. Remember back in 2022 during those midterms when it looked like the Republicans had it in the bag, but they beat themselves up. They beat themselves because in their hubris, they started talking about overturning Roe versus Wade and getting rid of contraceptives and they started talking about all these other issues when at the time, you know what I'm saying, that was an issue that was going to motivate and galvanize women to come out and vote Democratic, which happened in the midterms. Remember, of the 15 candidates that Trump endorsed, 14 of them lost. Remember that? The only one that won was J.D. Vance, who is now his vice president. So part of this is Trump, I think, hates to be aligned with losers. He hates that. So part of it is he sees these polls. He knows she's not going to win. Abigail Spanberg going to beat the shit out of her on election day. Plus, let's be honest, part of it could be he knows his base. He knows that they don't come to vote for niggas. I mean, we got to lie about it? We got to lie about it? I mean, did Trump come out and support Mark Robertson last year in that gubernatorial election in North Carolina? No. Partly because he knew that he wasn't going to win. And secondly, he knew he was going to underperform because a lot of his supporters weren't going to vote for him. Trump knows his base. That's why I think she's going to underperform. Remember in the polls, Mark Robertson was down by 7 to 10 points, and he lost by 15 points on election day. So that's why I said, I don't know if she's even going to get 44% of the vote on election day. By the way, in the lieutenant governor's race, the Republican nominee, I think his name is John Reed. He's MAGA, but he is gay. He's openly gay. Trump has not endorsed him. Why is that? So what I'm getting at is Trump knows his base. He does. He knows his base, and he is petty. And he hasn't forgiven Winsome Sears for not coming out and supported him when he was politically damn near dead. This is what he posted. I don't know if you guys can see it, but he posted this on. This might have been his Twitter before they took him down. It says, "Never felt good about Winsome Sears. Always thought she was a phony." This is real. He posted that. He posted that a couple of years ago. I think he posted it before they took him off of Twitter. So, you think he forgot? Nope. And I have no sympathy for her because I trip off how all these, black Republicans, they go out their way to cap for, that base, throw us all under the bus. But then that same base they always capping for never show up and support them in the same numbers that they do their white counterparts as far as the white candidates. They just never do. The only reason why Tim Scott gets elected is because South Carolina is such a deep red state that he's just automatically going to win by a comfortable margin each time. But if he was a white candidate, man, Tim Scott probably get 80% of the vote each time. But this ain't South Carolina. And Winsome Sears is not a good fit for this state. If she wants to win, she probably needs to move to South Carolina or Florida or Georgia. That and try to run for office there because Virginia is not the right state. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.